Hello, my name is Rebecca Jackson, and I am at my weather station located in Fairbanks, Alaska. My observations, which I will be reporting on, were taken the week of Monday, January 30th through Friday, February 3rd, 2017. My observations were conducted between 2:45 and 4:15 p.m. daily. The additional weather information being presented with my personal station observations has been generated by the National Weather Service located at the airport here in Fairbanks, PAFA. On Monday, January 30th, at the time of my observation, which was 3 o'clock p.m., the current temperature was negative 2.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The maximum temperature recorded at my station was negative 1 degree Fahrenheit, and the minimum recorded was negative 13.9 degrees Fahrenheit. There was about 50% of the sky covered with clouds. The clouds appeared white and thin, so I would assume that they are cirrus clouds. They looked wispy and kind of sort of appeared as a sheet coverage. My breath was visible, and the wind was 1 on the Beaufort scale. Using my compass, I measured the direction of the wind to be traveling 139 degrees. I determined the direction of the wind by observing the smoke from the chimneys at the house across the street, and I looked at the direction in which it was traveling. On Tuesday, January 31st, I took an observation at 4:15 p.m. and the current temperature at the time of observation was 9.2 degrees Fahrenheit. I recorded a maximum temperature of 11.4 degrees Fahrenheit and a minimum temperature of 7.3 degrees Fahrenheit for the day. The wind measured a 1 on the Beaufort scale, but it was difficult to determine the direction of the wind. The sky was very cloudy. The clouds appeared gray in color and covered a majority of the sky, probably around 90%. The cloud type was fair weather cumulus, which is usually associated with warmer weather. The National Weather Service at Fairbanks reported a minimum temperature of 1 degree Fahrenheit for the day and 16 degrees Fahrenheit for the day, which is warmer than the prior day. On Wednesday, February 1st, I took an observation at 2:45 p.m. The current temperature at time of observation was 4.1 degrees Fahrenheit. The maximum temperature was the same for the day, and the minimum temperature recorded was negative 6.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, on this day, the cloud coverage was around 20%. The clouds appeared thin, and they were sparsely spread throughout the sky, kind of gray in color. So I would assume that they are cirrus clouds. I have recorded here that the sun was visible and the sky was pretty clear. Snow was falling on this day from power lines and trees randomly, which makes me to believe that the heat from the sun may have been affecting some of the snow falling. I could feel the warmth of the sun on my face, and the wind was pretty calm this day. It was cooler than the day before, which may indicate a colder spell coming. The National Weather Service reported a maximum temperature of 0 degrees and a minimum temperature of negative 11 degrees Fahrenheit. On Thursday, February 2nd, 2017, I took an observation at 2:50 p.m. The current temperature was 1.4 degrees Fahrenheit, which was the same as I have recorded for the maximum temperature for the day. And the minimum temperature that I had recorded for the day was negative 10.1 degree Fahrenheit. The wind measured a 1 on the Beaufort scale and seemed to be traveling 199 degrees. The sky was mostly clear and the wind was pretty calm. I observed birds hanging out in the trees and flitting from tree to tree. The snow also, again, was falling from power lines and trees. The snow was in the path of the sun, but perhaps it was also an indication of wind. The sun seemed to be higher up in the sky compared to the day before, but I did not feel the heat from the sun this day. So that's an interesting observation. The National Weather Service reported a minimum of negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit and a maximum temperature of 0 degrees Fahrenheit. On Friday, February 3rd, I took an observation at 2:45 p.m. The current temperature was 4.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which was the same as the maximum temperature for that day that I have recorded, and the minimum temperature was negative 9.3 degrees Fahrenheit. The National Weather Service reported a minimum of negative 15 degrees and a maximum of 1 degree Fahrenheit. No clouds were visible in the sky, and the wind was non-existent, in my opinion, which may have contributed to the cooling temperatures. So when I was comparing my weather observations and my recordings of the air temperature with the National Weather Service, I noticed that there was about a 4 to 7 degree difference. And perhaps this was because of the location where I'm located. There are trees kind of in a neighborhood, so there's houses and trees surrounding the area of my weather station. And at the airport, it's probably more of a open space, so they may get a better reading of current air temperature and wind. Also, there was a significant warming trend from Monday, January 30th to Tuesday. Monday, January 30th had a negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit difference between that and the following day, where it jumped up to 16 degrees Fahrenheit, which was a huge increase, and may have brought about by a low pressure or a warm front coming through the area. So now we turn our attention to the pressure values that were recorded for the week. On Monday, January 30th, as you can see in this graph, I reported a barometric pressure of 1,117 millibars, which was very different from the National Weather Service's measurement of pressure. So what I ended up doing was I did a graph with my incorrect barometric pressure, and then I took the values out for that day and then plotted again the barometric pressure for the week. So now you're looking at the new pressure measurements with Monday's values removed from my graph. So on Tuesday, January 31st, I recorded a barometric pressure of 1,029 millibars at 4:15 p.m. Alaska time, and the Weather Service reported 1,032 millibars, reporting at that around the same time. So, again, the next day, on February 1st, I reported 1,043 millibars of pressure, and the National Weather Service at around the same time at 2:45 reported 1,044 millibars of pressure. The pressure stayed the same, on February 2nd, where I reported 1,043 millibars of pressure, and the National Weather Service around that same time reported 1,045 millibars of pressure. On Friday, I reported 1,036 millibars of pressure at 2:45 in the afternoon. The National Weather Service reported 1,037 millibars of pressure at 2:53 p.m. on the same day. On the graph, you can tell that the pressure rose significantly from Tuesday, January 30th, to Thursday and Friday of that same week, where the pressure kind of stayed the same, and then it started to drop slightly on Friday, going down more on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which may more than likely contributed to warmer weather. The coldest days of the week were Thursday and Friday, and you can see that that is where high pressure is plotted. On Monday, January 30th, an occluded front was present, moving towards Fairbanks. Where Fairbanks is located on the map, we see dark gray area indicating warmth, and we saw clouds close to the surface. This aligns with my observation of thin cirrus clouds covering approximately 50% of the sky. On Tuesday, a warm front moved away from Fairbanks and a cold front moved towards Fairbanks. This was the warmest day of the week, and you can tell by the cloud present, which was consistent with a low pressure system, and there were clouds in the area, but perhaps they contributed to the warmer weather. On Wednesday, the map shows Fairbanks obscured with dark gray and light gray, indicating cloud coverage and warmer temperatures. This leads me to believe that the few clouds that I observed were cirrus clouds. There were two high-pressure systems moving in and contributing to cooler temperatures that day. On Thursday, still two high-pressure systems, which Fairbanks was sandwiched in between. And again, this was kind of similar to the previous day, where there were kind of cool temperatures. On Friday, the conditions were pretty much the same. Fairbanks still in between two high-pressure systems. There's kind of dark gray area over Fairbanks and light gray indicating a few clouds, but I did not observe any clouds at my site. On Tuesday, January 31st, which was the warmest day of the week, the surface map shows northern and western Alaska is visible from space. The Earth's surface is visible from space. Southern Alaska is under heavy cloud coverage. The visible map from the same day shows little sunlight, which was observed at my weather station. The infrared map shows dark and light gray over the area where Fairbanks is located, indicating a mix of hot and cool conditions. And the water vapor shows a presence of water vapor and dry conditions, which leads me to believe that intermediate conditions were present. Humidity was high on this day, reaching 100% at 12:53 p.m. And that concludes my weekly weather report.